everyone, welcome to math. Today we are starting our new unit, which is on place value. So we're going to be looking at the differences between different place values and how we can find the difference between them. But before we start, Toby needs us to help us solve a problem for him. Toby luckily got a box of treats this weekend. And this is a picture of him all cute eating his treat because he was so excited to eat it. But Toby needs to figure out how many treats he can get because this kid loves his treats. So we have a problem for you. So Toby loves Milk-Bone treats. There are 10 Milk-Bones in a bag. How many Milk-Bones are in 10 packages? What about 100 packages? We are going to be taking a look at our tens place sticks and our blocks to help us figure that out for Toby. So let's switch over to see if we can solve.
So we are going to be using base 10 sticks and cubes to help us figure out how many of Toby's treats are in 10 packages. So one of these pink things is Toby's treats, and we know that in one package there are 10 of them. So I'm going to count out 10, 8, 9, 10. Oh, backwards. So we see there are 10. There are 10 treats here, but I want to put them in a bag, okay? I don't want to be holding 10 treats. I could drop one. I'm going to put it in a bag. And we know from our word problem that there are 10. There are 10 dog treats in one bag. So if I look at this, I know that my 10 dog treats, my 10 ones, I can swoop right over to my right and make the 10 ones into 110. Because if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 ones that make up one tens rod. So when I look at that, I know that when I go from here to here, I am swooping, okay? So I am swooping from my ones to my tens. I am doing a swoop. And as I do that swoop from my ones to my tens, I am multiplying by 10, okay? I am doing that because as I go from my ones to my tens, I have 10 ones that make 110. So my 1 times 10, one swoop times 10 gives me 10. So that's how many dog treats is in one package. But our question wants us to figure out how many are in 10 packages, okay? So we are going to take a look. Here's one package, so I know I am going to need 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 packages, okay? Toby's going to be very happy with us, so we have 10 packages for him, okay? But I need a box to fit these in. I don't want to carry 10 bags. I need to fill all of these into a box. So I am bringing in my box. I am organizing all of my 10s in one place. I am moving all of these 10s, swooping over to my next place with my hundreds block. So I know looking at this that I have 10 of these 10 rods and 1 of these hundreds. When I put my 10 rods together, it gives me a 100s because I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay? So when I squish my 10s together, I get 100. So I am again going to do a swoosh. I am doing a swoosh this time from my 10s to my hundreds. And as I do that swoosh across, I am multiplying by 10, meaning I take one of these 10s. It's my 10s place. I take one of these 10s and I do 10 times 10. So I have 10 times 10. My 10 tens rods, swoosh over for 10s, gives me my 100. Okay? So if I look at this, I know that there's another way I can write this. I can write this in exponential form, which we've talked about before, where I look and I see how many 10s do I have? I have one 10, I have two 10s. So I can write a 10 and then an exponent of 2, because 10 to the second power means 10 times 10, and that gives me 100. So that shows me how many dog treats are in one package of, well, how many dog treats are in 10 bags.
Now, I don't know about you, but I noticed a pattern. I noticed that when we went from our 1s to our 10s, we multiplied by 10. One swoosh over took us times 10. And when we did it with our 10s and our 100s, we started with our 10s, we ended with our 100s, and we swooshed over and multiplied by 10. We did 10 10s, give us a 100, so we did 10 times 10. But instead of writing 10 times 10, we wanted to write it in exponential form. So we did it with 10 to the second equals 100. So there's a pattern that I'm noticing. I'm noticing when we move a place value from the right side to the left, we are multiplying by 10. Let me show you what we mean. Now that we notice our pattern, we're going to practice with our equations. And Toby's here to see how many treats he's going to get. So you better do your math so Toby can get his treats. So we are going to look at the patterns that we see when we have certain exponents. So our first one is 1 times 10 to the first. So we're going to see how we write this as a number. So I'm going to take out my pen, and you're writing this in your notebook too. So 1 times 10 to the first. I need to look at this and say, what do I know about an exponent? An exponent is this number that's tiny above the 10. That shows me how many 10s I have. So for 1 times 10 to the first, I am doing 1 times 1, 10. And I know that because my exponent's 1. 1 times 10 equals 10. So let's see if we can keep this pattern up as we bring up our exponent. So 1 times 10 to the second. When I look at this, I notice my exponent is 2. That means I have 2 10s. So my real problem to solve this, I need to do 1 times, I'm going to change my color, 1 times 10 times 10. And notice, as I look at this, here's my 10 I had before, here's my 10s now. I had 1 10 when my exponent was 1. I have 2 10s when my exponent's 2. So 10 times 10 I know is 100. So I am now doing 1 times 100, which equals 100. All right, let's speed through the next ones. We have 1 times 10 to the third. If I look at this, I know to the third means that I am doing 10 times 10 times 10. So I have 1 times 10 3 times. So my parentheses, 10 times 10 times 10. And if I look up here, I had 1 10, 10 to the first, 2 10s, 10 to the second, 3 10s, 10 to the third. So 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So 1 times 1,000 equals 1,000. Now for the last one, we have 10 to the fourth. So I know that I'm multiplying it by 1. So I do 1 times, switch my color. 10 to the fourth means I have 4 10s. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. I added a 10 here. So I'm multiplying by 1 more 10 every single time I go down. So 1 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 gives me 10,000. So as I look, each time I jump from 10 to 100, I am multiplying by 10. From 100 to 1,000, I am multiplying by 10. And from 1,000 to 10,000, I am multiplying by 10. So every time we move to the left with a place value, we multiply by 10. So now we're going to take this one step further as we change what number we're multiplying by. What I mean is our green number is what we're multiplying by our 10 to the power. So for this, our 10, our red number, is what is called our base. Oh, it is red. and our orange, which is to the 1, is our exponent. So we have our base to our exponent. So as we look at this, we have 4 times 10 to the 1. So we're going to look at this just like we did our other ones. We are going to look at it as 4 times, how many 10s do I have? I look at my exponent, I see I have 1 10. So I'm just doing 4 times 10, which equals 40, because I know 4 times 1 is 4, and then next that extra 0, so it is 40. Let's do another practice problem. So now we're going to look at a bigger number that we're multiplying by. We have 6 times 10 to the 3rd. What this means is we need to figure out what 10 to the 3rd is. So I look and I know I'm doing 6 times 10 to the 3rd. Well, what is 10 to the 3rd? I know 6 times 10 to the 3rd equals 6 times 10 times 10 times 10. If I look here, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So that equals 6 times 1,000. 6 times 1,000, 6 times 1 is 6. And then it's the extra 3 place value zeros. So my answer for 6 times 10 to the 3rd is 6,000. All right, so for this one, we're going to do it a little different. We're going to start together, but I want you to finish it, and you're going to put your answer in our math quick check that is at the end of this video. So when we look at it, we know our base is 10, our exponent is 4. So we need to think, what are we doing? We need to put 10 to the 4th into something friendly. We know 10 to the 4th. We know 10 to the 4th equals 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, right? 4 10s multiplied by each other. Solve for what 6 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 is, and I want to see your answer in our math quick check. All right, so head out of the video and go into our quick check now.